Should I be wearing pants?
My friend, pants are always optional.
Pants are optional. No shirts, no pants, no problem.
Welcome to another Way of the Brush Conversations. This week, we have a very special guest. We have Clayton Tait, or as some of you know him as Tayton Clait. That would be in our Clash of Clans clan, in the chats, in various videos. YouTube handles Clayton Tait. No, Tayton Clait.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like to make it confusing.
No, that's good. Keep it. You got to keep the people guessing, and that's always very important. Make people think. That's why when people ask, Chris, how are you today? I always say, I'm unwell, thank you. Or I'm not unwell. That's it. I messed up my own joke. Anyway.
I like the first one because that's more confusing because you're thanking people for asking that you feel like crap.
That I feel like garbo.
Yeah.
So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not unwell.
Okay, there we go. There's going to be no shrieking kids in the background in this one, unfortunately.
No shrieking kids. No. Do you have kids?
No, I do not.
Are you married?
No, I'm not married. I have a mortgage. I'm married to my mortgage. How does that sound?
That sounds all right. Very cool. And so, Clayton, how long have you been into the wargaming, painting, everything?
Well, I was introduced to 40K by a friend of mine in third year university, so pretty late. And then I draw all the time. That was like my big thing. So I got hooked on 40K orcs. So I just like drew pictures of orcs. I didn't play the game at all, but I did that for years. And then I had like I guess a bit of an online presence on the art site DeviantArt.
Mm-hmm.
And I got contacted by this guy who works for a Polish third-party company that specializes in 40K orcs, and they wanted me to do some concept art for them. So they paid me by giving me some like a set of orc boys and a bunch of their stuff and their Cromlech.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh. See, I should have known because like I've seen your style, and I've seen your pictures of the orcs from your Deviant page, and you know what? We should have a link to that in the description below too.
Well, yeah, we can do that for sure.
I never even put two and two together because I've seen their site a bazillion times, and I didn't realize that was you that did that.
Just some of it, not very much, but. My claim to fame was they really liked. I did an orc version, sort of a cartoony orcified version of the. I think it's the. Oh, any history buff is really gonna hate me, but it's basically the assault rifle from the Germans in World War II. It's like the MG44 or something.
Okay.
And so that was one of the highlights. Like I don't know if you can see this guy.
Yeah.
We could put a photo of him, but that gun there. I had it for about a year and a half before it came out into production. So that's my Orky claim to fame. That's how I got hooked. And then they gave me a little note, a cheeky note with it, and it said "Welcome to the addiction." And then I said, "Oh, I'll just paint this one squad. That'll be it." And you can't see it, but behind me there's over 100 orcs.
I can see Dakka jets back there. What's on the very top shelf there?
Those are the that's Dakka jets and the warcopters.
Oh, the warcopters. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I can see they're not painted though, right? Are they?
No, there's 3 of them now instead of 1. But
yeah.
They're still not painted. That's like they've been like that for about a year and a half.
Yeah. And then of course, there's the other thing that you're probably got a little bit of notoriety from was working on Dave's Trolls book as well.
Yeah, actually, let's see if I move.
If you move, I can see. Yeah, I can see the book. Yeah. And so for those of you out there who didn't know, this is the young fella who illustrated Trolls, Mini Wargaming Dave's children's book. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of work too, wasn't it?
It was a lot of work, and it actually was perfect timing because about 4 months after we were done that book, the Orc re-release came, or a new release came out, and I would never have bought all the models that I did if I didn't have like money that I had said this is for wargaming. So
Right.
that's where all the kids book came from. Kids book money went to basically. So I'm one of those rare people that have like 12 plastic Meganovs because I would never have spent that amount of money.
Yeah, but why not?
But why not?
Why not?
Exactly.
You only live once, and you don't have the pitter patter of little feet running around the house, and you certainly don't have, a wife hitting you upside the head with a rolling pin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can happen now. I can always sell them if I really need to.
Yeah, exactly. You can always get rid of them. It's like any addiction. You can just easily get rid of it.
That's right. I can quit at any time.
Yeah, I can quit whatever I want.
I'm actually at a kind of a weird, not crisis, but it almost feels like a mini crisis. Like I have a total of fully painted and based. I think it's 114 Orc boys. So I don't need to paint anymore.
No?
No. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't need to paint more than that. But I have like another 60 at least. And with it, like old Assault on Blackreach orcs that I got at Craigslist deals or whatever, there's probably like, maybe there's even another 85 or 90.
Jeez. And
I'm just so used to painting so many orcs that the idea that I'm done is kind of shocking. I don't know what to do. I painted a battle wagon in 4 days. I'm like, wow, that was easy.
So your lifespan within the wargaming has been relatively short.
Yeah.
And it's only been really one-sided, right? I mean, it's just orcs. You haven't ventured into Space Marines or anybody like that?
I have a bunch of vampire counts, actually.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, so you've been getting into the fantasy.
Yeah, well, I love a lot of the models for vampire counts. Like I really love the Black Knights and the what are their elite cavalry?
Oh, I don't even know.
I can't remember.
Blood counts?
Yeah, blood counts. Yeah. They're super cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
Undead horsemen are freaking fantastic. But it's like the hard part with orcs is that you have, orc skin and rusted metal and leather and their pants, like they're from their waist to their boot, they'll have like 5 different textures and materials that you'd want to paint.
Right.
Whereas a Space Marine is like just armor plate from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's relatively boring.
Yeah, but then you go to vampire counts and it's the same thing. They have like bone and rusting metal and weathered wood and
yeah, but I think with the vampire counts, especially with the characters, it gives you an opportunity to do some really interesting things in painting. Like painting the brocade on like the cloaks and things like that, and getting kind of interesting textures like that onto a model. Versus the orcs, I mean, you could do it on an orc, but it's kind of meh,
You're not going to get that luxury element.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas vampire count, you can hit that kind of luxury. And like the black coach, I love that model. That's a really cool one.
Yeah.
That's a really
the
cool
only one of all the models that I've gotten from there that I've painted is I've got one corpse card.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where it went, but man, that thing is just ugly as sin.
Now on a different note.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do chin-ups off that pipe running above your head?
Oh, this one here?
Yeah.
No. I think I bust my sprinkler line. It's like my sprinkler there.
Now,
no, I don't want to do that.
And a different note.
Mm-hmm.
The window to your right, what is that? Is that overlooking the rest of your home or into your neighbor's house?
I live in a loft, so I'm actually in the upstairs. Let's see if I can move the camera without making anybody like seasick. This is actually pretty cool. I live in a hipster neighborhood in the most hipster house.
Oh, look at this. That's a sweet man. That's you throw some really sophisticated art on those walls, and you got a real panty dropping kind of place.
Yeah. Mortgage is a popular word here in Vancouver.
No, that's a nice place, man.
It's gorgeous. Well, it's kind of like it's an old heritage building, so it's an old candy factory. It's really beautiful, but because it's so old, like everything is falling apart. Like my bathroom right now is walled with heavy plastic and construction tape because somebody sided the shower with cedar, and it was gorgeous, but it rotted.
Right.
Oh, so I had to gut for some reason I haven't taken the time to completely gut my bathroom and rebuild it and then tile it because I've got works to paint.
I got works to paint, man.
So,
I got real work to do.
That's right. Women like the apartment, but then they see the bathroom like. It looks. You remember that scene in Snatch where they have all the the plastic out? That's exactly what it looks like. It looks terrible.
Looks like Clayton's doing snuff films or something at his house.
Oh, I know. All leads into the easily cleanable bathtub, I guess. I don't know.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, vampire counts, orcs,
mob armies.
Mob armies. You just love the mobs, right?
I do. I love the screaming hordes for sure.
Now, to go back to the illustration thing, is there anything you're currently working on right now?
No. I kind of go on in waves.
Yeah.
Between artwork and modeling because it's kind of like the same energy goes into both.
Modeling.
Yeah, like the like converting models and painting, like the painting.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like modeling, like you were going to like art colleges and standing there nude for everybody.
Oh no.
Oh.
No, I don't want to get laughed at.
I thought maybe you were a part-time model as well. I said, geez, I didn't think he was that handsome.
No, you could do a lot with the way light reflects off my forehead, I guess. But that's about it.
This is great for zenithal highlighting tutorials.
It's what I don't have a washboard stomach, but I've got a washboard forehead because I can wrinkle it like this. Now that everybody's turned their computers off and walked away.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh my god, what the hell are these guys talking about?
How can he be single?
Oh my god. So, did you have any questions about anything in particular as far as painting is concerned, or?
Actually, something that I haven't hit yet.
Okay.
Because I've only painted, I love plastic models. I hate metal models. I've only painted a couple metal Burna Boys, and I've primed them, washed them, primed them, everything. But even handling them, I chipped the paint off.
Okay.
Off their corners and stuff. So, is it possible to put a varnish, a matte varnish or something to protect the model, even at the priming stage, prime it and then protect it and then paint on top of that? Does that make it hold better, or?
Well, when you're having the paint chipping off or sloughing off or, what have you, right? Typically, what ends up happening is, right out of the package, right? The model could potentially have still mold release. Now, if you're talking really old kits, then it's not as likely, but with newer kits, it's possible that they still have that mold release on them. And pewter models are often done with vulcanized rubber, so they need that mold release on them.
Okay.
And usually they go through a washing period, but sometimes, there are slips through the manufacturing process, and that stuff is still sitting on the model. So you might want to give it a quick little, dish soap, in the sink kind of scrub down with a old toothbrush or something, right? Mm-hmm. Just to give them a quick wash. But usually that's only for resin models. People really kind of go into those concerns because paint falling off resin really is an issue. Paint off pewter, usually it's when the model is dropped or whatever, it's the vibration. For whatever reason, pewter resonates. And when it's dropped, it seems like paint can kind of just shatter off of it.
Oh, okay.
Now, oftentimes when you have paint rubbing off on corners and stuff like that, that's usually a sign that you're handling the model too much. You're now either your fingers are rubbing against points, or as you're holding the model, it's rubbing against somewhere on your hand or something along those lines where there's obviously some sort of friction occurring.
Mm-hmm.
And usually for that, I always recommend, sticking the model, some poster tack or blue tack or, sticky tack to a cork or an old paint pot. I use these little resin handles that I made myself that, I just use just poster tack, sticky tack, You slap it on there, slap the model on, and I mean you've seen the videos, like the painting tutorials, and you've seen it in like every single video. I'm using that, and that is the surefire way to make sure that you're not handling the model, because the oils and grease on your fingers are always your enemy at every stage of the way of painting a miniature. Because even after you've got the base coat down, and you'd handle the model, if you look very carefully and reflect the light off it, you can still see your fingerprint on the model. Especially if you're really kind of oily. And me personally, I'm greasy. I know there's some people out there who they don't really have that greasy skin quality, and they're usually pretty fine, and it's usually oily people who have that problem. But yeah, also the other thing is that the paint, if you've laid your primer down a little too heavily, it can also if the model was dropped, bumped, whatever, if the paint was too brittle on the surface. Sometimes automotive primers are like that. If you're using automotive primers, they dry really kind of brittle. Yeah. Versus,
no, it's just I've only just used like GW, basically GW primers.
Yeah. Army Painter, I find Army Painter, the black is really bad for knocking off a model. A lot of my War Machine models, because I handle them all the time, and the paint is always coming off them.
Well, that was my big question too, right? Like if they're going to be army troops that you're going to be, pulling on and off the board all the time, or off the table, then that was really the big concern. Like, who wants to take the time to paint a character HQ choice just to have paint chipping off every time you're going to touch it?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's a complete pain. No, and usually, as long as you're not handling the model and you're mindful of rubbing up against it or anything like that, and by the time you get to where you need to seal the model, sealing the model is usually where you should be fine. And as long as you don't overdo the sealing, because again, sealing a model can be done just like priming, where there is a sweet spot, but if you over seal it, then you end up with the fogginess, or you end up changing the color, and all these problems that come around with that stuff as well, especially with the matte sealants. They can create that really kind of foggy look if you overdo it. But yeah, like as far as like the paint kind of just chipping off. Now, I don't know, like I assume that your models aren't whipped around the room too often. I imagine, you're not gaming too often with them, and
I'm that guy that paints them to a very specific degree and then puts them on the shelf.
Yeah. No, that's not wrong with that. When I was a younger fella, that's pretty much what I did until, I started gaming with people and started, playing. But most of the time, yeah, I bought models that I liked and painted them. That's Clayton's secret project he's working on there right there.
I know I am, sorry. I'm just trying to, I like playing, like, placing things together, but there was like a little piece of plastic inside it and it was like clanking around.
Yeah. Well, even like the plastic kits too. How like you're doing that conversion and everything like that. And, usually when you go to paint that, it's usually not too big an issue, but sometimes it is with the paint coming off because you've handled it so much, right?
Yeah.
And so it's these kind of things that, you kind of have to become conscious of when you're working on models, is that, like if you were just eating, or, it's all these factors, right? And that you think about how you can end up transferring that to the model. And especially when you're converting, and pewter models are the same way, because you if the molds were misaligned and there's that big step in the model, then you got to file that down, and there's a lot of handling of pewter models.
Yeah, I don't think I could handle that.
Well,
that's the lazy part. I'll gladly paint an orc army, but the idea of like filing down super heavy mold lines and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a complete pain. when I see a model like that, yeah, I'm usually kind of discouraged at that point. I was like, oh, that's crap. And you kind of want to send it back, but you don't feel like waiting, and so you end up dealing with it. So basically, you just fill it in with green stuff, usually.
Well, I've ordered a huge amount of Orc hard boys by Cromlech.
Okay.
And normally their molds are like, or their product is like very, very good. But these ones, for some reason, seem to have a lot of that misalignment.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I bought like, this was the end of the trolls money, but I bought like 40 of the freaking things, and I was trying to mentally prepare myself to do like repair work on 40 of these things, like arms, their legs, everything. And then I said no. So I've got these fully painted Orc boys that have these seams on them. Like, and you can't really see them that much.
Right.
But they're there. They're all there.
They're all there.
They're all there. There's holes all over the place. Oh well. What can you do?
Well, I mean, it's like fine cast, you know. A lot of people bitch about fine cast, but fine cast is like working with resin models, and if you've worked with resin models, working with fine cast is no biggie. And same with like you know, third-party bit sellers who are not recasting, but casting their own parts and conversion bits, and you know, doing their own thing. They're often all resin cast, you know, stuff, and so a lot of people who are really into the modeling already used to resin, and you know, no biggie. Just the holes. Holes are a part of the game, and of course, you know, when you got the misaligned pieces, it's a pain. But I mean, again, it's a manufacturing process, and when they're pumping out a whole bunch of these things, there are going to be things that slip through the cracks, and you know.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen for sure.
Yeah, it's always going to happen. Although usually with the small people, it doesn't usually happen too often because, you know, usually the volume's not there that these kind of things would, you know, occur. Unless, of course, he just doesn't care anymore and he's, just keep getting rid of them, you know. In which case, that's just bad business.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully that's not the case.
Oh, hopefully not. No, I haven't. I used to communicate with them quite a bit, but I haven't in quite a while. But yeah, no, that's it. Well, yeah, that's how I got in. Then I don't know, came back and gave them some business. I mean, they're fantastic models. I mean, I really quite like them.
Yeah.
There's, one of the photos that I sent you has a bunch of Finnish guys.
Finished or finished?
Finished. No, not finished. No. Jumping all over Scandinavia and Eastern Europe. No, finished hard boys with mixed, like Cromlech and GW parts.
I wonder if there are Finnish hard boys.
Maybe.
I wouldn't do a Google search on that though.
No, you'll probably meet Tom Finland, whatever his name is.
Yeah, from those guys, they're the ones who do like the orc heads that look like they're wearing like kind of the old World War II German officer caps and stuff. Yeah, I like those guys.
They have
anytime you can get space Nazis, I'm in. Anytime.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you get space Nazis, I'm in. Count me in.
What was that movie? Nazis on the Moon?
Yeah, Iron Sky. Did you watch that movie?
Oh yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh, it was the best, worst movie I ever saw in my life. And there's a part 2 of that coming out, and Hitler's riding a T-Rex. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. I said, "Well, I got to watch this now."
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a treat. That was a treat. Yeah.
And so, okay, so what is this secret project you're working on?
Oh yeah, the secret project. Okay, so
secret. Not so secret now because he's going to tell us, but
that's right. It's the first time I've shown it to anybody. I haven't taken pictures or anything. If you go to the WOG forums, which is like the biggest sort of orc modeling forum, okay. I think on the internet. It's where like the most extreme friggin'.
Oh, and that's and you had sent me a bunch of pictures about your orc color scheme, and that was the forum, right? Because you have a thread there.
I do have a thread there.
Okay, well you're gonna have to send me that thread as well, because I'll put that in the notes. Okay,
sure, yeah. But one thing that they've done when the Orc battle wagon came out, so this is like years ago, I'm jumping on the bandwagon like really late, is a lot of people didn't like the fact that the battle wagons were so narrow. Like they're long,
Yeah.
and then narrow. They're like just a couple inches. So if you cut them in half and then build them up, you can create this like widened battle wagon.
Right.
So that's this here.
Now this thing is super, super cool, and it looks more badass. Wide,
It looks
like
heavy.
that. Yeah. It looks like a battle wagon. Like it looks, the name fits it now. The other one looked like a battle truck. It looked more like Mad Max, whereas this looks more like almost like a Baneblade, which should be comparable, right? Like these things should be more like a Baneblade kind of thing.
Yeah, or Baneblade or Land Raider size, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Front armor is the same. Yeah, we'll throw some more turrets on there. And stuff
So
like that.
okay, well you've got to walk us through like what size, because I'm sure people who are watching this are going to go, geez, Clayton's right on the right track with this. What size of plastic card were you using on areas, and did you keep notes? Tell me you kept notes.
Oh yeah, I documented it all, right? Of course. I think I used a total of 173 square centimeters of the 2 millimeters. No. Let's see, what would this be? I can measure it with my little handy dandy ruler. I guess that would be 1.5 millimeters thick.
And that's for the main parts of the body?
Yeah, that's for the main parts of the body. You can go thinner, like 1 millimeter is easier. And from Evergreen, which is a like styrene producer, you can get, I don't think I have any examples, you can buy them in strips. And it's really expensive, but it's really worth it because you can build things like, I'll just take this off so it doesn't fall over. But at the top front, you can see there's that panel.
Yep.
And it has those strips on the side.
Yep.
And that's very thin. That's maybe like, you can rip it in half, like it's paper thin.
Right.
And then you just cut that, and then that's your like your weld points in your armor plating, the strips that the orcs have used to like mount things together. And so that's how you get your details. It's all about building the details. So I've used like the strip on the top here.
Mm-hmm.
And
what I really like is how like you've matched the look, like running through, because I mean once that's primed, you're not going to really be able to tell which part. Now, and of course that falls into the beauty of orcs, that, I've talked about this before, that, any skill level of modeler or painter can make orcs look awesome.
Yeah.
And people who are really skilled just make really awesome looking orc stuff, and people who aren't so skilled can still make stuff that looks appropriate to orcs, you know? And
exactly.
that's a seamless blend between that armor plate there. All you're missing was the little grills or something, maybe some diamond plate.
Oh yeah, you can get that too. It's quite a lot of that. But things like the top of the turret, you see, I've expanded it. I used like a random piece. That's that already primed piece there.
Yeah.
And then if I can get some shadow on the top. Oh, no, that's way too bright. But there's basically like a chunk of plastic card, cut square to fit, which is pretty boring in and of its own. So then I took a little thin strip of it and put it on top. And then I put rivets on that, and it gives you like the 3 levels of detail to kind of make it interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Without it being too busy.
Yeah. Now, for the rivets, what do you do for the rivets?
I used to cut them out of very thin plastic tubing, which is like
the little tubes.
Yeah, like really thin tubes with a knife. But then after the Trolls book, I splurged and bought like resin.
Oh, you just bought resin bolt heads.
Well, you get that extra level of detail, and it looks really sharp. Like, let's see if I can get one with a pair of tweezers here.
Oh, they actually look like a bolt head?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna see that on camera though.
Possibly.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, I can see the way the light plays across it. Yeah,
so it has that heavy tube coming out the bottom, and you just drill that out, and then stick them in. And I think it was like, and these are the really little ones. They're so small.
Jeez. And where'd you get these ones?
Zinj. Zinj Industries is really cool. They do.
Okay, Zinj. Yeah, okay. I think I've seen them before.
They do some really nice flexible resin or plastic tubing that has like a tiny thin steel wire in the center, and so you can do like flexible tubes, or they have like ammo belts.
Hmm.
So you can like if you have like a Luda which has a giant gun and you want a flexible ammo belt to go to his backpack, you can really easily do that with their products.
That sounds really good. I'm gonna have to double check. See, I'm an Eldar player, and everything I buy is Eldarish, and I forget about all these other really kind of cool things, and because nobody makes anything for Eldar because it's so hard, right?
Oh, it's so specific.
Yeah, it's so smooth and angular, and nobody sculpts that stuff, not
Mm.
well anyway. And yeah, where's Orc stuff and Imperial stuff? I mean, you can make that crap up all the live long day.
Oh yeah, and if you're an orc player, your best friend is an Imperial collector, like Imperial Guard, because they have all these bits they'll never use, right?
Yeah.
So you can build orc tanks out of Imperial like Guard armor plating, and all your detail work is done. They have like cool grills and like that's what this is. There's I think, yeah. See, there we go. At the bottom, you can see the Imperial symbol there.
Yep.
It's just that's how you get that. That's not part of the kit. That's
Right. Okay, I got you. Pretty clever.
Oh yeah.
I like that, man. That's really good. You're gonna have to keep me up to date on how that project goes. Don't rush
Sure.
it though.
Oh, I won't. I won't. It's gonna be the custom ride for this guy.
Oh. Yeah, I never did get that shock attack gun guy done for you either.
Oh no, you never did.
No. he's on my desk. He's back there.
I think I've seen him. I've seen him in I think some of your private channel videos.
Yeah.
Did you prime him?
Yeah, I started base coating him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was watching and I was like, oh look, there it is all in different parts. Oh look, now it's primed. Oh no, it's a bit green.
Yeah. And his base I used in a video for making using plastic card and stuff like that. So there's his base is all custom made. It's all just plastic card stuff. And basically I did it so that how because it looks like he's got vacuuming up that little snotling. So I have the deck plating bending. So it's like he's pulling up the deck plating. Yeah. That was the intent anyway. So when and if it ever gets done.
Exactly. Hey, that's how it goes for commission work for painting. It's a lot of work. I could never do it. I could
No.
never do it.
No.
No. Too much, sitting, hunching over something, pouring a lot of energy into it, and then like figuring out that you made not that much money.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, but you know what though? That is painters undercutting and not charging what their work is worth. That's the painter's fault. That's not
Because it's so much effort. I find it so much effort.
Yeah.
The kit bashing is kind of fun and relaxing. It's like playing Lego almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do if I want to just turn my brain off. But if I try and paint orc skin and turn my brain off, it looks like crap. It looks like absolute crap.
Now, okay, you sent me a couple pictures here,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure what exactly I'm looking at here. I see a guy with a big wrecking ball.
Oh yeah, that's a custom guy.
Yeah. Let's have a look at him here. So, well, I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about him. The guy with the big wrecking ball. He's got like a Orky mask and a big chain wrecking ball.
Yeah, he's a hardboy knob. It's another concept that I stole from that orc forum. I've got him right here too.
Yeah, that's him.
So this is that Zinj Industries again. They have chain, so it's flexible chain,
Oh, okay.
and then it's the wrecking ball from the orc truck kit. And he's basically supposed to be an orc knob with a big choppa and a combi scorcha.
That's very, very cool.
And he leads my hard boys.
I like your painting on him.
Thank you. The armor plate paint is just one coat, or maybe two coats, and no highlighting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what about the battle wagon I see in the background of that one picture?
Oh, that's this guy right here. It's the same painting strategy. I paint all the metal. I make all the metal rusty.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just take actually a really small brush and paint all the paint on it and leave the area. So I haven't gone over it twice. Or with like, you know how traditionally you paint, if you're going to paint a battle wagon black, you paint it black. And then you paint like the chipping and damage on top of it.
Yep.
In this case, I painted all the metal first. And then I just really selectively paint the armor plating. It's really labor intensive, but it makes me happy because every single rivet
pops out.
has rust effects on it.
Yeah. No, it looks really good. Like I like how you've basically turned that technique around the other way. Mm-hmm. And you started with the end effect and built up versus building up and then finishing with the end effect. Like kind of, it is kind of circular in the fact that, you know, you're laying your base color down, your highlights, and then you start laying the rust effect down, which ends up kind of receding into the details, and you know, you basically kind of going backwards. Whereas with your technique, it actually makes more sense to work in a more linear fashion like that, where you're starting with your rust effect, because that is the stuff that's in the crevices and in the recessed details, and then building your color outwards. That actually makes more sense to do it like that. It's actually very linear versus the roundabout kind of way we normally paint these things. Because even that's the way I would go for that kind of a look. Is I'd paint all the base colors and then build the details and then add the rust effects later on. You know, I wouldn't bother with doing it beforehand.
There's an example. This guy has his rust effects done on his gun there.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'll just come in with a really small brush. Let's see, do I have one that's actually in decent shape? I buy these cheap brushes because you can paint like so many orcs with them. Even this thing. Yeah. And that tip, if you saw this, you would slap me.
Yeah, probably. I'm getting kind of angry right now.
It's holding its shape due to like layers and layers of paint that are holding it.
God.
But it's a $2 brush. And I have painted the eyes and teeth and nails on probably 60 orcs with this one brush.
So basically it maintains its point because of paint.
Yeah.
Got you. That's sound advice. Just as I was just about praising you on your style of painting, you look at the friggin' brush. Oh,
it's just trash. Just murdered.
Anyway, happy thoughts. Now, okay. And the other thing was with the other picture that you had sent me in was these little orcs with the blue mohawks on their heads. What are the hairs from?
They're orc hair squigs. It's basically here's a shooter boy, right, with a hair squig on his head.
Yeah. So
I just cut that off, like the top bit. Figured out where it would kind of line up. And then I just shaped it so it fit his head and glued it right on there.
Oh. Well, don't I feel foolish now?
You're an Eldar player. You're not used to...
I'm not used to goofy hairstyles?
Ruining one orc model to build another one.
Yeah. You're not used to ruining one model to make another model.
Hey, but that's also... another great thing, especially with my timing for orcs, is I started right when Assault on Blackreach came out.
Yeah.
And everybody bought Assault on Blackreach for the Marines.
Yeah.
So people would buy 2 kits with their buddy, and then their buddy would say, "Oh, I don't want to do orcs anymore," or whatever. Yeah. So they would have 2 sets of Assault on Blackreach orcs on Craigslist for like $40. And now you can't find those Defcopters anymore because everybody wants them.
Yeah. No, so everybody was buying them up just for those Defcopters.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like the Assault on Blackreach boys were dirt cheap. Looked like crap, really. But if you're going to practice, like that's how you do it, right?
Yeah.
So I have,
Do you have the first orc boy you've painted?
Yeah, actually.
Okay, well, you gotta send me a picture of it.
Yeah, I actually have. It's a goblin from Hero Quest.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where he is. He's around here somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Send me a picture because I'll post that up right now. First Orc Boy. Or
Yeah.
first model painted.
First model painted with Tester's oil paint.
Nice. Nice.
Which I would like knock over if I breathed on it. That was so hard to paint with that stuff.
Yeah, I'll bet. I used to use testers on my models too. I had an Imperial Guard guy who was his gray armor. I used testers gray. I think it was like Battleship gray or something like that. His armor, and then I painted the red stripe with like ruby red testers. Yeah, because ruby red, it was semi-translucent, and so I used to use it for blood effects as well because it was semi-translucent, and so you could see some of the undercolor, and so I used to use that. It's a lot of fun.
That's funny.
Yeah, big thick globules. Like it was like the paint was like, it was creating details. Like there was relief to the surface.
I remember trying to paint those Chaos Warriors from that game and just losing their face. Their entire face would disappear under this huge black blob of paint.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah. Testers.
And if you wanted to see ruined brushes, like me trying to clean brushes with friggin' gasoline or whatever.
Turpentine.
Turpentine, exactly.
Yeah. No. I know it's brutal, and so thankfully, there are people out there today to help us and guide us to manhood, to painting, to become better painters.
Yes.
Thankfully they're out there because I wish I had the resource that is out there today. If I had the resources that people have today, man. I'd probably still be the same kind of. But I would have got there faster.
Exactly. You're trying to think of how you can say that it would make you a much better painter without insulting your current painting skills.
I don't know. Well, no, but I mean, like, I don't think I've plateaued. I think I'm still constantly learning. I certainly hope I haven't reach the end. As far as like technique and things like that are concerned, I think it's really our perception, because it's kind of like the way you've gone about painting your orcs, going from rust first, building up. It's really our perception of these steps that we go through, and really there is no steps. I mean, there's no real right and wrong way to paint an orc boy. It's just kind of have at it. Now, there's a right and wrong of how much paint you should be using, and things like that. There are a few things that are right or wrong kind of things, but how you go about it though, everybody's different, and I like the way you've done that. It actually makes a lot of sense to go to that route.
Thank you.
Would I do it? I don't know, but because I'd have to play with that technique myself to make that work for me, because I'm kind of that old school base coat, highlights, shadows. You know what I mean? Like I have those steps in my brain, and that's how I go about painting. Versus somebody who's relatively new and doesn't, hasn't been caught up in a lot of the dogma. Kind of go about making your own crap up, and I mentioned that before, that's really the kind of stuff I look for, is the people who are outside of that, these well-established walls, as it were, and are really quite free to make more interesting choices.
Well, the great thing about this rust effect is it's literally just I think 2 dry brushes and a wash on the base coat.
Right.
If you want, you can open up. I sent an email that has 4 photos of how I went about doing it.
You sent me an email?
Yeah. I think it's the first one. It should have a bunch of pictures of an orc gun lying on a black cutting board. It'll say step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4.
Finished rust effect? No.
I believe so. Oh no, those are the boys.
Yeah, those are just the boys.
Boys in the tank.
Example photo. And that's just one picture of some boys.
No, that's old. Oh, maybe I didn't send it to you.
That was 3 days ago. What do you mean old?
Oh, here it is. I just have to press send. Let's do that.
Oh, jeez. Come on, Clayton.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we will...
That was tremendous. How do these things work again?
Come on, man. So
it was one step. I was off by one step.
Off by one step. Okay, so I will include that probably during the segment. Oh yeah, okay, I see the gun. Yeah, and you got the silver. And then what's the next color?
Blazing orange.
That's blazing orange. Looks really brownish.
The second picture is it's a really light. It's like dry brushing it, and the paint is very thin.
Okay.
So there's very little paint on the brush, and the paint is very thin, and it stains it that orangey brown color, and it's blazing orange. It's like straight out of the pot.
And then the third step is picking that metal back out of the edges.
The third step is a Devlin mud wash or equivalent, like a brown wash. And then the fourth step is just hitting it again to give it a less of a uniform look.
Yeah, I gotcha. Oh, okay, you titled them that way. Frig.
I just don't know how to press the send button. That's all.
Oh man, time we out here. Okay. Well, was there anything else that we needed to cover today, or?
Hello Kitty Marines.
Oh, Hello Kitty Marines. Yes, we talked about that a moment ago. Hello Kitty Marines. Yes, you have to throw that into the vault as a question because that's where that's the generator for quick tips.
Yeah, that would be tremendous, just to piss people off.
No, I think it'd be awesome because I haven't done a pink marine, and I'm sure there's people out there who want to know how to paint a hot pink.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like that Tau Fire Warrior.
Brighter than that.
Yeah, but that one has like a little spark.
No, I'm going flaming with it. Yeah, no, I'll take it right to the 9.
You do a quick tip on how to do like the little tiny Hello Kitty face.
Yeah, I'll freehand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it'll be good. Maybe even cell shade it. We'll do the anime cell shading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I know I've got to get that technique down because I still have these Robotech models I got to get through, and yeah.
Oh, that I never bought into that Kickstarter, but when I saw that, I was pretty stoked.
Neither did I. It was a young fella, Daniel. He dropped them off because he backed it up, and we were talking about it. You know, like how I loved Robotech, and yeah. Did you ever watch Robotech?
I did, and I played the role playing game in high school too.
Oh, did you? I never played the role playing game.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
You
didn't like it?
Bad. Well, we made our own version where we had like some mechanical genius who was able to like take all different parts of different mechs in the game, and then like slap them all together. Very, very Orky actually. So you would have like Veritech engines in a giant destroid that would just barely work, and then put like Zentradi guns on it because Zentradis had those like huge cannons.
Yeah, that sounds bad. That sounds like
it was awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like a huge waste of time. That sounds. In fact, I'm not gonna lie, Clay. That sounds horrible. I think you might be able to get a refund on your childhood.
I found the equivalent. I play MechWarrior Online now.
Oh, do you? Oh, geez.
Yeah. Strip that thing down to nothing and build it up with whatever you want.
The last time I got a good mech fix was what the hell's the one you make your robot and he flies around? Something core.
Oh, I don't know.
I almost wanted to say.
How old is this though?
It was PlayStation, and then it was on PlayStation 2. Something core.
I don't know.
I want to say Iron Core, but it's not Iron Core. Not hardcore. frick. And you could build your robots up. And you did little missions, and there's like little trucks on the ground. You can squish them, and you have to fight other mechs. And yeah, it was really, really fun. It was a fun game.
Sweet. No, I don't know it. I didn't get into the console thing much though.
Metalcore? No, I can't remember. Frick. Anyway,
you're gonna YouTube it now to find footage of it.
I'm gonna have to find it. And then of course, GameCube had Robotech. GameCube, yeah, GameCube had Robotech, and that was fun. And that was just like watching the video game, or the TV show, but it was a video game. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was really, really simplistic, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like even the tabletop version here, it's not overly complex because there's really not a lot of different units.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have your Vertex, you have your Destroids, you have your Zentradi battle pods, you have the two armed ones that the commanders use, you know. And that's really about it. And then the fighter craft, right? There's really not a whole lot of units. But maybe you get more of a challenging gameplay out of it, you know, because it's kind of like chess where you don't have that really varying difference in troops, and so it's actually more about position and, you know, attacks. I don't know, haven't played it yet, but
yeah. The models look like they would be a joy to paint because they're quite large.
They're actually pretty big. Like the battle pods here, like, well, you can't see. Well, you'll see it after. But the battle pod,
I've seen you show them in The Way of the Brush too, so I'll use the power of my imagination.
Yeah. The battle pod's almost 3 times the size of a Space Marine.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're really, really tall. Like he's probably about the same height. No, he's taller than a Wraith Guard unit or Wraith Guard model.
You could do like really minimal, like super thin edge highlights, and it would look really good because the model is so big.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm thinking like this when I was going on about the cell shading earlier is really sharp highlight. Mm-hmm. Dominant base tone, and then a blended shadow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if that is making any sense. So the shadow gets a blend, but the highlight is a really sharp, just abrupt highlight.
Almost like they illustrated it with like a gradient effect to get the shadow, and then just used whatever, like a hardline brush.
Yeah,
in the actual animation itself.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for achieving these anime cel-shaded looks. I'm thinking of that because essentially, you know, we've talked about it as Borderland.
Yeah.
The Outlands, there, Borderland video game. It's got that cel-shaded look, and I really like the style of that game. But,
oh yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
But anywho, Mr. Clayton, I think
Chris?
we've droned on enough, bored the crap out of it. I don't know who's all still watching us, but I'm sure they've pressed on and persevered, and who knows what else. But
they're just looking up now because they've been working on models, and they're like, oh, they're still talking? Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But so, any last words of wisdom for anybody who's watching?
Listen to audiobooks while you do your modeling stuff. It's fantastic. And download the Serial podcast, which is about somebody revisiting a murder in Baltimore in the 90s, and it's very interesting, and it's all real, and it's fantastic entertainment while you're painting.
Well, there you go. That's what inspires Clayton. Listen to actual serial murders. That's the energy he commits into his miniatures.
That's right. I'm gonna do a diorama of just like a bunch of orcs like just kicking a grot.
Freaking CSI crime scene with orcs.
I have.
Oh, here.
Okay, we got to do this. This will be the reward for anybody who stuck through it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'm committing myself to it now because I'm telling you.
Because we're talking about it now, so it's documented.
Yeah. I'm gonna come right back. I'm gonna get one of these models. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Let's see.
Not sure why he's got a mirror there, but maybe he can look at himself while he's painting. Okay, he's back.
So a great thing about the Def Coptic kit is that it's very easy to convert.
Yep.
So I got a bunch of treads, and it already has skis. So you can really easily make orc snowmobiles.
That's very cool.
So they're going to count as war bikes, right?
Yeah.
and they're all going to have the same head, this horrible orc head with like a really fluffy hat, so that it looks like they're geared up for winter. What I want to do,
like they're wearing toques.
yeah, but all of them have the exact same head. Normally, you want variety with orcs, but all of them have the same ugly face. You know what I mean? And what I want to do is I want to paint them up, put them on snow bases. But this is what I thought would be hilarious, because it'll be a squad of about 10 with a knob. Is in one of the things, like a bat rep or a narrative campaign that Mini Wargaming does, I'll send these to Mini Wargaming if they come back. Right?
Yeah.
All of their coats will be plaid,
Right.
Because they're going to be Canadian, right?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to give them their own formation data sheet where they like automatically come on and like this before the second player turn of the second turn or something. And then I'll mail these to you, and then you can come in a bat rep and then read it out, and then basically like.
I think if we do a Christmas special, I think that's really what we should aim for. Because we never got around to getting our Christmas special done, because we were going to do a Santa sleigh type scenario. We did one for Halloween, and we were all jazzed up about that, but we never got one done for Christmas. But Christmas we got kind of busy around everything, so we were all.
I think it would be funny to ambush somebody's game with that, because that would be the idea. Like if Dave or Matt or whoever would have no idea that this is going on.
Yeah. As far as send them here. Awesome. As far as you getting them back, okay. And as far as them making it back to you in one piece,
well, that can't be guaranteed, of course.
Yeah, that's asking a lot of this crew.
That'll be on the data slate. If it doesn't come back in one piece, then anybody who gives Dave a bit of a smack gets an extra victory point or something.
Whoever can fit this ski blade up his nose gets an extra victory point.
No, that'd be terrible.
Well, all right, Clayton. It was a lot of fun.
Right.
We will talk to you later on, and basically just update us on, whatever crazy crap you're working on. I'd like to see how far you get with that battle wagon, because that looks really cool.
I'm pretty hooked on it now. I have to decide where I give it all wheels or if I give it big treads. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Big treads actually sounds really cool, especially on the back, or if it was like a half track.
Yeah, I want to save the tracks though, because they're really good for other orc vehicles. Like I've got tracks. I can show you that another time too. My Morkanaut doesn't have legs because I hate the legs on those things.
Right.
So it has the battle wagon tracks instead, and it's like a perfect fit.
Oh. Yeah.
It actually looks like it could actually work.
It's legit then.
Oh, like how is that thing supposed to move? Come on.
Alrighty, man. We'll talk later.
All right, sounds
Keep us
good.
up to date.
Will do.
So that was Clayton Tait, or Tayton Clait for those of you out there, and keeping us apprised on his work. Of course, we enjoy his illustration work he did for Trolls. Of course, check out his Deviant art page, and we'll also have a link in the description below as far as his orc conversion work. And he's doing something in the camera, but he doesn't realize that I'm not showing him right now. So
that was my way of figuring it out.
And so if you want to have a sit down conversation, show off what you're working on, some personal time with myself, or letting people get to know you, in the description below is my Skype handle, or just shoot me an email, chris@miniwargaming, and we'll set up some time. We'll shoot the breeze, as it were. Maybe that's what I should need to call this show, shooting the breeze. I don't know. Still conversations. I mean, it's still the name that sticks. I don't know. But anywho, take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys later.
And done?
up to the point you said that. Yeah.